Hey everybody. Hey everybody. Like Aaron introduced me, I'm Chris Sause, and as our theme today for the TEDx event is The World's Imagine, I'll be speaking on imagine a world where you can get paid for your passion. So to open up, I just want to hear what some of you guys' passions are. Basketball, sports, cars, people, music. So see, wouldn't it be pretty cool if you could get paid for those things? Like if you got paid for practicing basketball? Okay. Or if you got paid just for interacting with people, or you got paid for playing with cars, driving cars, any of that, that'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Well, I chose to speak on the NCAA because being an athlete, that's something that I know a little bit about. And my driving question here, first of all, was how many of you have ever watched an NCAA game, been to an event, owned memorabilia or any of that? So a pretty good number of people in here have. And so the problem that I'm addressing with this today is that student athletes are not getting paid for what they're doing. And it is a lot of time and effort, as I'll explain later in the presentation. But I believe that student athletes need to be paid for doing what they're doing. And of course, one question is, where does the money go? And I've discovered that the average college coach receives $3.85 million a year. That's all sports, swimming, volleyball, basketball, football. And while it is strenuous and difficult to be a coach, I think $3.85 million on average is just far too much. And then, of course, the counter to this argument is, what about scholarships? Well, these are both very extreme examples that I found, but Johns Hopkins University is the most expensive university in the United States, and that's $69,000 a year to go to. And then you look at somebody like Johnny Manziel, who was a quarterback at Texas A&M a couple years ago. It was estimated that he brought in over $100 million to Texas A&M in just over 2 years. So you can see these numbers don't really add up to them getting what they need. The athlete's struggle is what I'm going to talk about a little bit here. And basically, as a freshman in college, most athletes are required to go to 12 to 14 hours of practice a week and at least 15 hours of study hall. And so that's about 30 hours a week just spent with your team. That doesn't include classes, traveling for your sport, social life, anything else you want to do. Just 30 hours a week, so they have no time to get a job, so they really have no way to get income. And now I'm going to talk about Shabazz Napier. He was a guard at the University of Connecticut. He won a national championship. He was the MVP, All-American. And they did an interview with him right before the national championship game, and he reported that he went to bed hungry about 3 nights a week. And he said this was because he didn't have money to go get food. He couldn't afford the gas to get there, and even if he couldn't afford the food when he got there. And he usually had practice during the times the dining halls were closing. So that's a problem if somebody's going to bed 3 nights a week hungry. So the question again is, how does this add up? Usually if you put in your time and your effort to something, you enjoy being paid. Like a teacher, a construction worker, any other job you do, time plus effort usually equals money. But for these athletes, their time and their effort doesn't result in money. A possible solution that I've come up with would be, I agree with a lot of people when they say that it'd be irresponsible to give an 18 or 19-year-old this much money. Like Johnny Manziel, you don't just give a 19-year-old $100 million. So I think that they don't deserve it all either. I believe that a large portion of it should be donated straight back to the universities, because without the universities, it's really just a bunch of people out there playing. But I believe the NCAA should set up a system where student athletes, they find the average for a regular college student and what they receive in income, and then set up some way that they can give student athletes that money. And also, I believe they should set up a trust for some money that they bring in afterwards, because it is becoming harder and harder for young people to find jobs. So after they graduate college, they could have a little something as a trust just to start out with. Thank you for listening today.